Tuesday's tip. Come on in, everyone. How is everybody today on this fine day? These little things, when they stick out, make you look like Frankenstein, you know? Anyway, who's in the house? Come on in. I see people. I see nobody said hello yet. Do say hi. Who's going to be the first one to say hello? Who is here? There's V. Hi, V. Also known as Virginia, and Mary Ann with her 10-pound loss from yesterday. Well, she didn't do it in a day. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Martha. There's Tracy. And Sue is in the house. Hi, Jackie. Hello, Catherine. And there's my girl, Mia. And Trisha. There's Crystal. And Marguerite. Hi, Heather. Hi, Kristen. Jacksonville. Denise is here. There's Kathy. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Lily. I'm good. How are you? Hi, Gwen. And Evan. Evie. Evie. I'm going to say. I'm just sorry. I keep messing that up. Christina. Lily is in beautiful Colorado. And Susan's here from Portland. Love Susan. Love it. And it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And Jenny's in the house. There's my girl, Lizzie. Yay, Lizzie. Hi, Carol. Good to see you. And Rebecca. Yes, it is Romper Room, y'all. This is how we roll. Teresa's here from Long Island. Or Long Island. I have a pretty good Long Island accent. I can throw that down. Bring out the coffee, and we'll have coffee talk with a mindful mug, of course. Hi there, Joan. I don't know where Ocady, South Carolina is, but okay. We'll go with that. There's my girl, Wendy. I got a little something special for you, Wendy. You'll see when you open your box. I recognize all of you who order because I write on every single one of your invoices. Every single one of them. Some of you get cards. That's just how we roll. Thank you, Joanne says this is a cute top. Joanne, this is just terrible. This is one of my purchases from, what is it? Old Navy, which I like because they're cheap and, you know, you don't care if they're, cheap is good, especially when you're, losing yourself a little bit. I ordered the wrong size. I mean, I should have, this was a large. I wanted nice and baggy, but what I got was just a tent. So just beware, order down. I should have ordered a medium. Thank you, Catherine. You're so sweet. So sweet. Well, thank you so much, y'all. And thanks for joining me today because I think we've been on this journey together. Do you feel that? I feel it so much. And when we get together every day, I always think, like, what are the things that are in me? What's going on? And this morning when I was doing my daily stuff, the L-glutamine is indeed on sale. So just stay tuned. We've got things coming up too. Our supplement of the week is coming up tomorrow. Hint, hint. Don't forget that. We're back on that. And also we have done a whole bunch of customer stuff this week. We have, for those of you who are our customers, you've gotten your note and we've told you, thank you for being a customer and look what we have done. We're about to unveil that all to the public, people who have not ordered before. But we always put our customers at the front of the line. I mean, right? And most of you who are here, a lot of you, I'm looking at all of your names and I say, here it is. There's Yolanda, customer. All the people. I'm glad you love my notes. It makes your day. It makes my day to write them. So everybody that when I do this, I want to make sure that you guys feel taken care of. This is why I write the notes. This is why I pray over every single one of you when I get your orders in. And I wish God's very best for you. And, you know, we're fully invested in you. You're fully invested in us, and we just give it right back. I believe that's what makes and elevates the group. Don't you agree? We have, because we have such great women in this group. I have never seen such support. I have been using Facebook groups since Facebook groups came along. Never seen such support as I have seen in these groups. So that's why I always say it is all about lifting up. We talked about lifting up yesterday and rising up, rising to the occasion, rising to the place of understanding that you have a whole lot more inside of you than you ever thought. And today we're going to talk about how our emotions teach us, or our emotions will lead us. And we want them to be teachers and not leaders. We want to be the leaders, right? That is a really important thing. And I think, you know, this is part of our growing upness, right? Have you ever noticed just because you get older doesn't mean you necessarily grow up and mature? Have you noticed that? You gotta do something about it. You know, you have to actually do something about it. It's the truth. Because if you don't do something about it, you know what happens? You just get older. That's it. You just get older. I'm sorry, but if I'm going to age, I want to age like a fine wine and not some piece of bread that gets mold on it. Which one do you want to be? I want to be a fine wine, for heaven's sakes. Next week, did you know next week we have a challenge for everyone? It's free, and you're going to want to get in on this. It's the hydration challenge. And the reason that we're doing this is that we want to bring you to the place of understanding just how important getting your hydration is, and to educate you on what hydration means, and to give you some ideas for some infused water and all this different stuff. And wait till you see it. It's adorable. You're going to love it. It's all done. And Amber did a great job. She's our customer service rep, our cherished new customer service rep that we just love. And it was her idea. And I said, run with it. She did it, and you're going to love it. So do sign up for that. Share it, would you? You're going to get all kinds of little graphics. And we want you to share it and bring people in. This is a free thing that we can do to get people's hydration on point. This is a critical thing, you know, and it's a free thing. Now, you want to go a step further? I'm always going to invite you to do a step further. And that would be to make your bone broth. That would be to do your collagen, like we talk about, perfect paleo protein. That would be to get your fiber in and get your hot milk mix in. And wait a minute. And Crystal has a glass of wine. You're my girl, Crystal. You know me. I sure like a good glass of wine. But let me just tell you, after this whole pandemic thing, I was getting to the point where I was just like, man, because, you know, you get frazzled and you kind of default to old icky habits, don't you? You eat the food that you weren't supposed to eat. You drink more wine than you should. And it just left me going, what am I doing here? So, you know, that's the clear the decks thing. I think we're going to do a detox at some point too. I don't know about you. I still feel like I need one. The more you love your decisions, the less you need others to love them. From our lovely Mother Teresa. That's very forward thinking, don't you think? I think it's extraordinary. Because forward thinking makes you think of things in a different way. When you see yourself as not performing on a stage anymore for everyone, and you make these decisions that you love, and decisions that you know are pro for you, when you have a voice in your life, that's what happens. Everything changes. Everything changes. And you know what's interesting too, and this is the thing you have to be willing to pay us, you know, the price, if you will, is you might lose some friends, or supposed friends, the ones that are always wanting to tell you what to do and what you're not doing right, and hypercritical and gossipy, because that's low vibe, lowbrow bunk, right? And have you noticed that as you elevate up, that not necessarily everybody's going to go with you? And I'm not trying to say, oh, we're better than everyone else. What I'm trying to say is that when you choose a high road, it doesn't mean everybody is willing to take that same route. You just have to be prepared for that. Happens all the time. So do pay attention. And by the way, we are running out of all kinds of stuff. We're out of Just Juice Veggies. What else are we out of? We're getting a run right now on beauty support, so grab that. I mean, a run on that. That stuff's just flying out the door. We also have, what else do we have going on? We lost Just Juice, CLA, our Get Lean CLA, that's gone. We had hundreds, and it's gone. because we have done special bulk pricing. And you can check it out. Go to savingdinner.com / well, just go to savingdinner.com. You'll see the stores right up there on the right hand, the navigation you can see is right on the very top of the page on the right. Or you can go to store.savingdinner.com. You can check it out. All good stuff. Also, Jenny's son, Jesse, just turned 18, and he is graduating from boot camp on the 28th. I just think we are a family, we are a community, and let's keep Jesse in prayer he's going through the last part. I can't even remember, Crucible, I guess, the last part, which sounds like a whole heck of a lot of fun. I'm sure that he's going to it's not going to be a lot of fun. You know, it's kind of like sororities and fraternities, Hell Night, times 3 days or something. Let's keep him in prayer. What else do we have? I guess that's it. So don't forget, just check it out and get your, yes, we don't have anything with gluten in it, Susan. All of our products are gluten-free. Every single last one of them. All of our products are dairy-free. All of our products are made here in the United States. All of our products are formulated by me and a formulator. So you've got good stuff here. I mean, I'm not kidding. When I tell you that we worked hard on this. We've been working on this line since December. And we weren't able to really launch it all out there. And now we are in a big way. So keep that in mind and just have confidence in what you're getting, because it's clean, it's great stuff, and we're passing on our savings to you so that you can get a great deal, right? Don't you want a great deal? I do. So we're going to talk about how emotions, those things that we have inside of us, we have emotions inside of us that are crazy. You know, sometimes don't we feel like you're just being run over by a train with our emotions? And emotions, somebody was asking, do we have a multi? Do we have a multi? Jenny, yes, we have a multi. It's an excellent multi, by the way. And yes, we do. I mean, our emotions are everything. Our emotions can be crazy town. Our emotions can throw us down into a tailspin. Our emotions can lead us by the nose and throw us into a place that we don't want to be. Our emotions can destroy or at least fracture relationships if we allow them to be the runaway train. Our emotions can take us to a place where we're high one day and we're low the next. Our emotions are crazy sometimes. But I want to say this about emotions, because I think this is the most important part about emotions. Emotions are merely feelings, right? They start as feelings, and then we have this emotion. And then we think that emotion is all the things, when actually it's just a feeling that we have in our body. Have you ever noticed that? Oh, it can be a feeling of dread, or it could be a feeling of sadness. It could be a feeling of happiness. But it is a feeling, and as feelings do, they're here today and gone tomorrow. Now, if you're sinking down into a depressive state and you can't get off the couch and you're crying uncontrollably, you need to call someone. I will never, ever dismiss that. I will, however, take a look at all the things that, we have the ability to have a handle on. And one of those is our emotions, especially when we understand how they operate in our body. It's part of a biological expression, It's part of, yes, it's part of who we are. It is part of our soul work, if you will. But it is also something that is usually fleeting. You know how you feel angry for just a minute, or how you just frustrated for just a minute and then it's gone? Have you noticed that? You feel frustrated for a minute and then the next minute it's gone. Or if you're really going to work that hard, you can hold on to it and carry it as a grudge. But, that doesn't work with our paradigm, does it? It doesn't work with the things that we want. Because carrying a grudge takes a lot of energy, and it's a heck of a lot of weight to drag around. And it also takes us off the focus of what it is that we want. If what we focus on expands, focusing on holding on to a grudge and bitterness is just going to take us to the place of complete upheaval. It will. And it doesn't get you anywhere. It doesn't get you anything. It just adds to the burden of hardship and heaviness that maybe you're already feeling. And if you are bitter, you are feeling that. I know what it feels like to be bitter. I know what it feels like to harbor unforgiveness in your heart. I know what it feels like to let people live in your head rent-free. That's what my mother used to say. But why? Because our history is always going to be indicative of something that happened to us in the past that will never, ever, ever be able to change. But we need to take the lesson out and tuck the rest of it away, because there's just no purpose in the past anymore. There's no purpose. The past needs to be a teacher, and that needs to be the end of it, so that we can continue to live our lives, and live our lives in a way that's vibrant, and live our lives in a way that we love. Live our lives optimally, optimistically, and in a way that grabs hold of all the things that we want. We can't do that when we're preoccupied with the past. We can't do that when we're preoccupied with our emotions and allow our emotions to do the stuff. We can't. Antoinette's asking, do our emotions control us, or do we control them? Good days and bad days. Some days I want to stay in bed, and the other day you want to get up. Our emotions do not control us unless we give them permission. We are the ultimate people who are in charge. We have this thing called the prefrontal cortex. That is the boss of your brain. And when the boss of your brain gives up control to the most base part of your brain, which is the amygdala, which is the risk, scary, angry, tired, just low vibration place, then you no longer have a voice in your life. Have you thought about that? We need to think about that, because when we are giving way and just saying, okay, I'll let our emotions run. And by the way, parents, when we're not teaching our children to control their emotions, we're saying, oh, well, they're just 6, they're just 5, they're just 8, they're just 10. When they're just 13, they're going to start acting like complete brats. They need to learn to control these things. We all do. There's certain things we need to control. You teach your child to control their bladder till they get to the bathroom. They need to control their temper until they have words to use. They need to have outlets for them. We do too. The anxiety part of the brain is also in the amygdala. And when we have anxiety, anxiety is just basically overreaching worry. That's it. And it's just going around and around, and we are consumed with that. Not, it is not just so that we can go pop, 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 and just go, okay, done with that emotion, on to the next, done with this one, and on to the next. It isn't that simple, of course. But I will say to you this, that when you understand that you do have a say-so, you do have control over your brain and what you think about and what you're going to be moving through your head and ruminating about. You do. At any moment you do. And yeah, it's easy to fall back into the old, ooh, scary, danger, awful, and bitter, angry, all of that. Just think about all of those negative things. They're down here on the bottom of low emotion, low vibrational love. They're Eeyore. Versus Tigger, who's way up here, is optimistic, looking for things, looking for people, and just happy to be around, and boing, boing, boing all over the place. When we smile, we change our physiology. We change our physiology all the time. We can make a decision of how we want to do our emotions. We can make a decision on the way we're going to go. We can. At any point, we just say, I'm going to think about this. Because what you think about expands, always. That is a known fact. What you think about expands. So our perspective shifts, so do our emotions. If you can put yourself in a place of empathy and thinking about somebody who has horribly wronged you. And I know, again, it's all, there are so many people that I have spoken to. And tonight, by the way, if you're part of Take Back Your Life, our masterclass tonight is on trauma and how trauma has an influence on your weight loss. It really does. And we hold on to things. I don't want to be holding on to things anymore. Yes, like Kristen said, I want to be a Tigger. Don't you want to be a Tigger? You see Eeyore, and the first thing you want to do, even as an adult, you just want to roll your eyes and just say, get over it, Tigger. You're bringing everybody down with you. But how many times times do we do that ourselves? Not Tigger, I'm sorry, Eeyore. We want to be a Tigger. We want to jump up and down. We want to be excited about our lives. Well, if we want to be excited about our lives, we need to master our emotions and not allow our emotions to throw us, take us. I want you to think about that. Grabbing it by the nose and dragging you behind. Because that is the kind of energy it is. That is when we don't have, you might as well be a 3-year-old with no potty training, you know, just peeing all over the place. Because when you pee all over the place, you're polluting everything, right? You're polluting everything. You're polluting yourself. You're polluting your environment. You're polluting the people around you. And all they want to do is grab you up, scoop you up, get you to the toilet, and then get you into the shower to wash you up. That's what your parents want to do. Well, if you're an adult and you're just spewing all over the place and you can't control yourself and you can't get your tongue under control, you know, the Bible talks a lot about the tongue and about the uncontrolled tongue. And go into Proverbs and go take a dig around. If that doesn't get you. Teresa said, like my elderly cat. Well, Teresa, I'm going to bet you don't want to be like an elderly cat and peeing all over your house. So, you know, this is something that we need to do. So there's 5 things that we can do. 5 things that we can do to get our emotions under control and to stop allowing our emotions to have the last word. You ready for it? The first thing is to remember that your perspective shifts everything. I've told you the story before when, you know, Mark and I have this glorious view of the whole Blue Ridge Mountain Parkway. We really do. But we have a couple of trees that, you know, kind of block the way a little bit. And one day we were out on the deck and I was saying, look, you can see there's the pileated woodpecker. Now, those are the big woodpeckers. Those are the big woody woodpeckers that are about 18 inches high. And they're rare, but up here in the mountains, you get them. And they're glorious. I saw one, I was like, there he is right there. Mark's like, I can't see him, I can't see him. So finally, I just moved him to where I was standing. And I said, see, right there at 12 o'clock. Do you see him now? Ah, I see him now. He had to get in my place to be able to see from my perspective where the woodpecker was. And that is how it always is. Our perspectives are what direct our emotions. That's what we see. Our perspective can shift if we are allowing ourselves to move into a different place. If you're constantly sitting on the couch and hand wringing and worrying about your life, get your butt up off the couch and do something different. Your perspective will change. If you're not taking care of yourself and you're eating a bunch of crappy food, go do the sprint. Watch what happens as you start to feel better. Your perspective will change. If you're not taking your supplements, for heaven's sakes, get off your butt and start taking your supplements on a daily basis. It's self-care. Your perspective will change. Do you know that especially when you're feeling down and you're low and this, that, and the other thing, and you're not taking your B complex, that B complex is the buffer zone for all that stress and for all that downer stuff. Seriously, makes a big difference. I take B complex daily. I also take SAME in the morning. This also helps. You know, I have a tendency to go down there. We all have a tendency to do something. We all have those dings in our constitution, but we have an opportunity to shift that perspective. The other thing you can do is look at emotions and think, aha, this is what's happening. Why does this emotion keep coming up and up and up and up? I feel bad about my weight. I feel bad about my weight. I feel bad about my weight. Well, you know what? Why don't you use that emotion and all that brain power that you're putting toward feeling bad into doing something? Because that can be the fuel for that fire. I have seen this over and over again. When you shift the way you think, you can shift the way you do, and you can shift what you're going to get in return. And yesterday, if you didn't watch yesterday's Facebook Live, go watch it, because we celebrated you in a big way for all the people who did the work, got into the sprint and did it. And when you're there doing the work, you get the reward. And when you get the reward, your perspective shifts, and so does your emotions. They go right along, hand in hand. Have you noticed that? Dominoes, boom, 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 down they go, down they go. It's crazy. And the other thing you need to look at, number 3, is this is great self-awareness, right? It lets you know something's amiss, something's up. Why am I feeling this? Again, when I say to you, unplug from the emotion and take a look at what's going on, all I'm trying to do is get you to evaluate it. I'm not saying deny your emotions. I'm not saying pretend they don't exist or dismiss them or any of that. I'm saying take a minute, take a pause, agree with yourself you're going to do that, and get in there and take a look at what's going on, because you know what happens? Then it gives you a new perspective and you get to do the work that you need to do. You can process the emotion a little bit better. And when I say process, what happens when we process things? There's a beginning and there's an end when you process things. You get through it, right? That's what emotions are. You don't deny them, you just get through them. And guess what happens too? When you start getting a little bit more proactive on it, the time that you stay in these horrible, feeling bad emotions gets shorter and shorter because you're doing the work. It's incredible how that works. And then number 4 is this puts you in a place of better problem solving. Believe it or not, because it taps you into this place of understanding that what you're doing right now is you're working against your biology. Because being in this place of having all this anxiety, having this hand-wringing experience, and just freaking out over everything puts you in a fight or flight place, which means your cortisol goes up high at inappropriate times, like in the middle of the night, and you're thinking about all the things, you're not getting the appropriate amount of sleep, and then that just turns into an avalanche of garbage that you don't want. But you get to look at it and think, you know what, this is a flag. This is a yellow flag that's saying, Leanne, it's time to problem solve something. So let's look at it that way, and let's give ourselves that perspective, because it really helps. And then the last thing that I have for you, and this is number 5, this is my absolute favorite, because this is something that I do all the time. I have the absolute 100% opportunity to either flip it or be paralyzed by it. Flip or be paralyzed. I shared with you, and those of you who were here in May when you heard my whole sad story of what was going on with our supplement company and our manufacturer. 10 minutes before I came on, I was told, we're just not going to be able to do anything for you. And I broke down and cried on this darn show. I didn't want to, but it just came out. I was just absolutely terrified. What's going to happen to my business after I've been in business for 20 years? What's going to happen to everything? What's going to happen with all my customers? How am I going to do this? Terrified. But I looked at it as I can either be paralyzed by this or I can take a risk and be empowered by it. And I chose to be empowered. And I did things that still scare me. And I look back and think, what's this about? But you know what? It is all about being in that place of making a decision to choose the emotion that I wanted to feel and choose the way that I wanted to go. At any point, you can do that yourself. At any point. Because emotions are just feelings that we have in our bodies. You got that? They are not the ruling factor. It is not a herd of stampeding wild hogs that have come into your house to take you away. We give them too much power. When we can understand that it's a physiological response to something that we're thinking, we can start changing our thinking. When we realize it's a physiological feeling that's in our body that will go at some point, we have the opportunity to say, okay, so what am I focusing on? At any point, you can pull back and say, okay, I gotta look at this from the 30-foot view. At any point, you can call on your body clutter buddy and say, hey, help me out here. I'm stuck. This is the area that I'm in. And I'm going to tell you also something too. If you're working with a body clutter buddy, don't be so gentle with each other. I mean, in the sense that sometimes we need somebody who's going to listen to what we have to say, but is also going to mirror something that's different than what we're going to see. We need that. We all need a different perspective. Remember my Woody Woodpecker? Until you move, you won't be able to see that beautiful woodpecker. Until you move just a few inches, you can't see it. And I want you to be able to see it. I want you to be able to enjoy it. You can be paralyzed or you can be empowered. Your emotions have that kind of power if you give it to them. If you give it to them. So today, as you're starting to think about your day, as soon as you're starting to like lay out, you know, all the stuff that you're doing, looking at your week, looking at how you're planning things out, looking at what was different from last week that you did, and how do you want to take that into this week to make it even better. That is when you can start moving the needle in your life. The needle in your life moves not just the one that's between your toes, but your entire life. Because at any point, you can focus on what it is that you want to expand in your life. Pinky's up, Norma says. She's right. Anytime. So let's do that, shall we? Our emotions are feelings inside of us. That's it. And at any point, they're going to come and they're going to go. And what we think about, what we focus on, those are the things that are going to expand, and we can choose to expand on the things that are going to give us the things we want in our lives, right? Do the things, do the work, stay strong, stay in community, and stay connected. That's everything. Paralyzed or empowered, Jenny, is what it was. Paralyzed or empowered. I like being empowered. And do you know something? Empowered women empower other women. So think about that. Think about that one. Be an empowered woman and then empower someone else. You've got the power to do that. You've got the power to do that if you got your focus straight. Emotions are never, ever, ever going to take you where you want to go. They're useful only if you look at them from that perspective, and sometimes they need to be put into their proper perspective, don't they? That's it. That's what I got for you today. Another Tuesday in the bottle. Let's go out and make today the best day ever. And don't forget about all of our things going on. Yes, we do have a multivitamin. We have InflaCrusher. We've got the beauty support that Marla's always talking about. It does make your hair grow. There's my little fuzzies for you. It's crazy. And you know what else is really great? It's when you're feeling good about yourself and you're doing all the work. Your self-care is in your supplements. Your self-care is in the food. Your self-care is in your hydration and your sleep and connecting in your community. Don't ever forget that. It'll make you feel like a totally different woman. Empowered women empower other women. Be that woman, okay? Peace be with you. Love you guys. Bye.